Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Day 8 of Zelda Randomizer. You may notice that things might look a little different, and that's because I kind of want to change things up a bit. What I would like to do going forward would be to start out each video of the run with a short review of how the run went, highlighting some areas of improvement, and if there are some good points that I want to make as far as like the gameplay, maybe being good in a certain location. Maybe I do really good at killing a boss, or maybe I do really good at screen scrolling or block clipping, or have a really good memory of where something is, and I can point that information out. But I would like to do a short review before each run. That way, you don't have to sit through a 2 to 4 hour video to see how the run went. You can kind of gather all the information in the beginning, and then if you choose to, you can watch the rest of the video and be able to see how the run pans out, step by step. So the first part I wanted to do before I did the actual review, and that's kind of special to just this part of the video or just this video itself, would be to go over the two big tools that I've been using on my runs. And in fact, I just started using the spreadsheet tool that I created today, and it's basically just a shortcut of information to let me know little bits and pieces. And the same with the Z helper tool at the very top. So as you can see, it's got the options for the different triforces, which you see whenever I'm playing the game. It also has the different items, and you can easily kind of highlight them and pick which ones you want to show, as far as what ones you've collected. So if I collected the regular boomerang or the magical boomerang or the power bracelet, whatever I've collected, I can highlight it, and it becomes something that's more visible on the screen. That way, people who are watching at a glance can see exactly what I have. And even me myself, I can just take a look over here, say, oh, okay, I've got the bow, so I know I've got the bow and arrow. I can head over here, or I don't have to worry about this guy, or oh, I've got the raft. That opens up certain areas on the map. And speaking of the map, as you can see, the map is kind of filled out right now, and the map isn't filled out automatically as you play. You have to take a moment to highlight where you want to, or where your character is, whether you're playing Link or, in my case, the Wizrobe, like where your character is, and then marking that information on the map. And you have a bunch of different options, as you can see, and I use the X quite a bit on any location that I've already fully explored or that doesn't really help me at all. There are a bunch of different options, as you can see. Just kind of going through, you can figure out where things are. You can put hearts and potions and warp zones in the different levels in those locations. And so that kind of helps me keep track of where I've been and where I should be going. So, if the top right's all filled in and I've already been to level 2, I've already been to level 5, and I don't need any potions or bombs or the blue ring, there's no more point for me to go up there, because all the other things, it's all been kind of filled out, so to speak. So I wouldn't be going up there. The second tool here that I created earlier in the day, before I even started the run, was just a slightly easier to see version of the notes that I had, as well as giving me the ability to kind of see what items are left to acquire in each level. It's not going to tell me, oh, you're going to find the boomerang in level 1 or level 6, or anything like that. It's just something to help me kind of figure out. So if I do find the boomerang on the floor, I can mark it with an X. That gives me my first floor item. If later on in the level I find a heart on the floor, I can mark that. And then even later on I find a staircase and I go down and I find another heart, and I can mark that with an X. I did go through and mark some of these areas with filled in black squares. That's just to notate that there's no items for that particular column in that dungeon. So as you can see, level 2 has 2 floor items and it has no stair items. Level 1 has 2 floor items and a stair item. Level 8 has 1 floor item and 2 stair items, and level 9 has 2 stair items. And these are just like general things in each of the levels. You know, all the levels are going to at least have 1 floor drop, because every boss would normally drop a heart. And then some levels get an extra floor drop, like level 1 and level 2. And some levels get an extra stair drop, like level 8 and level 9. So this kind of helps me keep track of, you know, all the items that could be acquired, or I can even type in what I acquired and where. And I also included another column for level lock, and that's just for me to kind of figure out, okay, I've been to level 1 and I've got most of the items, or maybe I got all the items but I couldn't get the triforce because the triforce required me to have a ladder. So I can put in the, you know, in the level lock that I need a ladder. So if I looked up at my Z helper and I saw I didn't have the triforce, and I'm like, why do I not have the triforce but I have all the items? And it's like, oh, okay, I haven't found the ladder yet. So since I haven't found the ladder, you know, I can't get the triforce. So it makes it just a little bit easier to kind of keep track of all the information, so I don't have to be thinking about it all the time. You know, eventually I want to not have to think about this kind of stuff, and, you know, have it more of a second nature. But I feel that having it available for me to see right away, and being able to make like a snap judgment based on that information, I can go, oh, okay, yeah, I haven't found all the items in level 2, or I haven't found, in this case, you know, I didn't find all the items in level 6 or level 7 for whatever reason. And, you know, I was like, okay, well, I had all the items I needed to beat the game, so I just went and beat the game. But yeah, these are currently the tools that I use on my runs, along with, you know, my Nintendo controller, and then some poor decisions sometimes. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at the video game part itself. So I did play through the game, and it took me an hour and 40 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't know if it took a little more, a little less than there, but I kind of rounded it off to about that, because I didn't start the timer until near the end of the run, about when there was about 40 or so minutes left of the run. So I apologize for that. I just kind of took the start time of the game, which was around 1 minute and 30 seconds, and looked at the time in which it took me to rescue Ganon, which was about 1 hour and 50 minutes. So it wasn't too bad. It was 1 hour and 48 minutes and 30 seconds, or 1 hour and 49 minutes, I guess, just to kind of be safe before anything happened. I did have a pretty interesting start location. It was just along the lake. One of the big problems that I did notice, though, with playing was that I did visit the fairy fountains 5 different times, and a couple of those times were pretty bad. So the first time that I went to the fairy fountain was kind of low on life, and then shortly after, just kind of walking away from the fountain, you know, I just lose one of those hearts almost immediately. And that wasn't too great or too smart. There was another time in which I, you know, was low on life, and I was running up to the fountain again, And then sadly, while I was trying to battle these guys, I did end up taking a boomerang to the back and dying. So, trying to get to the fountain, couldn't quite get to it, and then dying. Definitely a bad feel. Then there was a third time in which I went to go visit a fountain, this time the one over in the Dead Woods. And, like I said, I don't think there's anything really immediately wrong with visiting the fairy fountains, but visiting them too much does kind of eat away at the time. Yeah, granted, you could die and then, be sent back to the start, which would definitely not be good, because then you'd have to get back to wherever it is you're going, and that can cost you even more time. But I just kind of wanted to make myself aware of it whenever I was watching. And then there was the fourth time in which I went to the fairy fountain and, to refill my health. And then for some reason, I don't know exactly why, but I kind of was running around and I didn't really have too much of a plan at what to do. And so I kind of wandered around a couple of screens when I could have easily just wandered over a screen in order to kind of explore. I think I might have been a little confused on where to go, so having a bit more of a plan and forward thinking should have been something I did. There was a fifth and final time where I did visit the fairy fountain, to kind of refill my life. Didn't really do too much there. Didn't really have too much of a problem with it. Just like I said, you don't want to visit it a whole bunch. At least I don't want to visit it a whole bunch, but I can understand there's going to be points where it's much easier to hit up the fountains and everything. I did die a total of 9 times inside of the game, so that was pretty sad. The first time here was whenever I kind of hesitated to do everything, and that ended up costing me a life. So not good at all. There was a second death, and that was whenever I was trying to get to that fairy fountain again. Good old boomerang to the back. And the third time was shortly after I was trying to kill mobs, and I, for some reason, walked into my own fire before getting hit in the back by one of the, Goria's boomerangs. So, not good. And then there was a fifth death. There was definitely a number of deaths that I had in level 3. And I know I skipped the fourth death, and that's actually for a pretty decent reason. But dying in level 3, not good. My seventh death, which again, yes, I know I'm skipping over a death there. But that one was shortly after I was trying to screen scroll, not able to do it, and then kind of panicked and kind of got knocked around by some guys. And then my eighth death was, me trying to plant a bomb while there was guys throwing boomerangs and going crazy, and then just getting hit. And there were 3 deaths that I kind of wanted to go over, which I kind of found really funny. And it kind of ties into the 5th death, but there was the 4th death where I was in level 3, and in level 3 there was this room filled with a bunch of Wizrobes, and I tried frantically to kill them, not once, and then again not twice, which, resulted in the same thing, but 3 times, and each time thinking that I had a shot. And it wasn't until I passed that room 4 times that I was able to actually kill all of the Wizrobes. So it was pretty sad. There was some other interesting things that kind of went a little bit awry throughout the run. One of them was I was pointlessly killing enemies multiple times, or pointlessly hitting enemies whenever I didn't need to hit them, like that Goria there. I should have just, saw that he was in my way and then scrolled the screen back and then came back again, just like on that screen, to be able to go up here to see the gambling game. There was a couple of times in the levels where I was pointlessly killing things, like in this particular one. I already have the any key, so there's no reason to kill any of the Stalfoses. I should have just been walking through. In areas like this where there are, guys that I have to kill in order to open the door, then, that's a little bit different because, you have to kill the guys in order to open the door. But in some dungeons, I kind of killed too many guys. Like in Dungeon 8, I do this a couple times. I ran into the room and just started killing all of the enemies. I assumed I was doing it for the hearts, but still it was kind of pointless to go and battle all the enemies and then go ahead and do the same thing again, where I go into a room, I battle like half the enemies, and then I just kind of run out. So as you can see, I was super hesitant there. I was like, what am I gonna do? And I just ran around, swung my wand a bit, and then just kind of ran out. This kind of thing happened a bunch of times. Shortly after doing level 8, the same thing kind of happened again after I left. I believe I just didn't have any idea of where to go and what to do. So I was just kind of running around. I go to hit up the any road, and I'm like, where do I need to go? And I just kind of walk in a direction, decide it's not the right direction, and then go a different direction. So yeah, that kind of thing, and it happened a bunch of times, and again it happened in level 9. So not particularly, terrible, just like all the others, but it's paying attention to those small instances where there's a lot of issues where you're just wandering around aimlessly or not kind of exploring in a optimal way that kind of leads to some issues. Some of the good things though, there was 4 times in which I did screen scrolling. So in this particular screen scroll, this one took me a little bit of time. This one actually took me the longest out of the screen scrolls, and it was mostly because the enemies didn't want to work with me and just kind of stay away, so I had to kind of battle them. That Goria, he decided he wanted to come over there and be my friend. I told him we don't touch, it's social distancing. He wasn't having any of it. But this one, like I said, this one took the longest to actually get, and then I eventually do get it. So even though it did take about 40 seconds to actually do it, I was able to actually do it. There was a couple of them that were really fast. So for instance, shortly after I get this money, I go out and I kill one of these guys. I believe they're called levers, and I go to the side of the screen, and it's just like shortly, bam, and I go to the other side. So that was really good. This right here was me going after that particular area there. Now, sadly, this is what I wanted to do whenever I hit up this screen scroll. So I was thinking to myself, I can go around, and then I thought, oh, maybe I can screen scroll to the other side and just kind of walk through the wall and get back over there. It turns out I didn't do it close enough, or I just didn't do it right. And whenever I went to screen scroll to the other side, I ended up soft locking, so I was pretty sad about that. But there was another screen scroll later. This one also went pretty quickly. I killed some of I believe they're called levers, and then as soon as I killed them, maybe got hit a little bit, but was able to actually get the screen scroll to happen. So I was pretty happy about that. So that was 4 different times in which I screen scrolled, and everything, came through pretty well, or at least as well as it could be. So the run itself wasn't terrible. Again, it was pretty good. There was there was room for improvements, as with everything, but there was still a lot of really good times. I was able to avoid a lot of enemies throughout the run, pretty much narrowly dodging some things. And there was a lot of times where, I was just running my face against a, against a brick wall, like in level 3 where I was just going against the bad guys constantly and just getting wiped each time, not kind of thinking it out, just trying to throw my face at everything. So definitely wasn't good, but all in all, it was a good run. I ended up killing the princess and going through and rescuing Ganon. So that's kind of the way everything went. So I guess you're going to be listening to past me beat the game, as future me has, kind of explained how everything went. So I hope this little short review before the actual gameplay kind of helped out. If it did, let me know in the comments. If it didn't, also let me know, because I definitely want people to enjoy the videos that I make and just enjoy the things that I'm the games that I'm playing and the things that I'm doing. So anyway, take it away past me and play the game. Thank you very much, future me. Welcome to the gameplay portion of the video. Thanks to anyone who made it this far and is still watching. And if for some reason you're watching this and you shouldn't be watching this, what are you doing? You can do other things. Anyway, for this particular playthrough, what I thought I'd do is, instead of trying to commentate about everything that I'm doing, figured I'd just play through the game and like normal, and just try and talk about some things that I find interesting that are maybe going on in the world of video games or YouTube or whatnot, just in general. I'll try not to, do anything, too crazy. Try not to do anything political or something that might be super divisive that everyone might get all upset about. I'll just try and keep it entertaining, so to speak. So without further ado, let's go ahead and we'll turn on the game music, and we'll see about starting up the game. So, let's see, everything looks good. I did, have a bunch of extra stuff, like I said earlier, that I set up, and I just wanted to make sure it looks good on my screen and it's easy for me to read. And we're gonna go ahead and we'll head on with the game. So I hope, wherever you are, if you're having a good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I know I usually say it at the beginning of or at the end of the video, but figured, maybe I can sneak it in at the start and just kind of start off a little conversation like that. I'm doing pretty good. I usually wake up fairly early every day, and I just, for some reason I always have trouble sleeping for extended periods of time. So usually anytime I do sleep for an extended period, it's usually because I don't feel well. So, like, I did get my COVID vaccine quite a while ago, and whenever I did that, it did kind of shut me down. Didn't really do a whole lot else. I just kind of laid in my bed, being sad and very sick. My body, for some reason, isn't like the strongest of bodies, so I have to kind of be a little careful, because I do have, some health issues that, caused me to actually get the vaccine a bit early, as well as some of the jobs the job that I had was very, very public oriented, so I had to deal with a lot of people, and they're actually giving out bonuses to anybody who got their shots, so it's still better to remain silent and be thought a fool. Interesting. Oh my. But yeah, I hope everyone else, if you have any family members that ever got sick with the COVID, I hope that they're doing all right. Nothing really bad's happening to them. That's really scary. At least you know it'd be scary to me. I don't do really good with you know other people having problems. I always feel way too bad sometimes. Actually, most of the time, usually feel way too bad. I don't really enjoy you know, watching other people suffer too much, which is funny because I love horror movies and I love horror games. I don't know, maybe there's something really weird in my brain about it. There very much could be. So, let's see. Speaking of horror type games, I've been playing a bit of well, I guess it'd be Dead by Daylight. That was the game that I've been playing, and it's a pretty fun game. I didn't particularly like it in many years ago. Whenever it like kind of first came out, it was a bit of an for me. I guess that's kind of the best way to put it. It was kind of meh because I didn't really care too much about it. And then recently one of my buddies started getting me into it. He's like, hey, you should totally play this game. And you know, I started playing it and I was like, wow, this game is really fun. I see why you enjoy it. Of course, I usually play as the killer. You know, I haven't played as Survivor yet. I've seen a bunch of people that play as Survivor, and you know, it also looks pretty fun. But I'm more of the killer kind of person, I guess. I don't want to. I feel bad whenever I mess up and it causes issues for other people. So I try not to engage in those type of activities, I guess. And recently I've been playing a bit of what is it? Michael Myers. That's kind of like the character that I vibe with the most in the actual game. He's just a really interesting character, at least to me. Super basic. There's nothing really crazy about him. You just run at people and kind of stab them. It's pretty straightforward, at least for him. He's super straightforward about it. He's like, I'm coming to get you, and then that's about the extent of what he does. He comes and he gets you. Although I have heard that you know, playing well, just from what I've seen, the people that play the Survivor, you know, there's a lot of like times where you have to rely on your other people and kind of work together as a team, and there's other times where I guess there's perks for survivors that you know, that are way how do I want to put it, like there's like perks that are specific to them being able to, I guess, I died. And there's perks that are kind of like super dependent for them to be able to kind of control the killer a bit more. And I guess like in higher levels of play, because I'm obviously not that great at the game, I just, you know, I play Michael Myers, which what I'm told is, you know, he's a very like bottom tier kind of guy. His whole thing is he just runs at people. And I was like, I figured this would be the best guy to play. But I guess there's like perks that are very specific for survivors that make it really easy to just, you know, deal with deal with killers that are like Michael Myers. For anyone who's never like really played the game, it's basically a horror game where it's one person that has the ability to kill people versus 4 people whose like only ability that they really have is to kind of survive. They've got a number of different little kind of skills that they can do, but there's nothing else. They don't like have any. They don't have like, the killer has the ability to kill people. Obviously, that's why he's the killer. And you know, the survivors have a bunch of survival style skills that allow them to do different things. Like, so the killer can try and kill them, but they've got skills that allow them to not get killed. And you don't really kill people so much as you have to hit them a couple times. You hit them once usually, and that puts them in like a damaged state. And then you have to hit them again to knock them down, and then after you knock them down, you can put them on these hooks that are kind of all around the map. And then after you've, you know, after you've done that, then you can, oh wow, cool. And then after you've done that, then, you know, then they have like an opportunity to get rescued. But after you've placed them on a hook 3 times, that's when they actually die. You know, all the times before that, it's just kind of like, they can still die the first time they get hooked, but it's very unlikely that they will. Just because, you know, there's no real like a threat for them unless you as the killer sit there and watch them, because they've got a little bar that slowly ticks down, and once the bar ticks all the way down, that's whenever they die. So they've got a pretty long time, and it happens each time you put them on them. So like the first time you put someone on the hook, they have the bars full. The second time you put them on, regardless of how long it took before them to get rescued from the first time, it's going to be at half, and then the third time, that's whenever it kills them. So it's it is, you know, they can potentially die from the first hook, but it's going to take it's going to take you as the killer really, really kind of paying attention to them and just like camping them essentially at the hook, making sure no one rescues them. But the thing is, like, whenever you attack people as the killer, there's a long cooldown for whenever you can attack someone again. So you can't just attack them and then attack them again and, knock them down. So there's like an attack, and then there's a brief period where you can't attack, and then you can attack again. And since it takes 2 hits to, to just bring someone down, you can potentially like just hit someone, and then they're only going to get damaged once, and they could rescue them, and they both just kind of run away while you're sitting there, waiting for your melee or your attack button or what have you to come back. So it is kind of interesting in that aspect. Oh. See, where do I start again? Oh yeah, I start over there, that's right. Let's go check. But it's, the game itself, I think, is really fun. If you're a fan of, like, cooperative gameplay, you could definitely have a lot of fun playing as a survivor, with your buddies. As far as, like, doing that, it's as a survivor, it's really simple as far as what you need to do. You simply have to repair 5 generators of the 8 that are around the map, and then once you've repaired those 5 generators, once you've repaired those 5 generators, you simply just flip a switch on a gate, which kind of it follows in the same vein as the generators, where it takes a little bit of time to activate it. So it's not going to be something that you activate right away. You still have to, like, sit there and spend a little time actually, like, holding down the button to open the gate. But then once you have the gate open, you can escape the area, and that kind of like you've escaped the killers in essence. And then since you escaped the killer, you're good to go for getting out of like the getting out of the game and I guess surviving, since you are the survivor. There's also some other like really interesting mechanics, like if you're one of the last survivors, you can open up a hatch, or a hatch will open up, like if you're after you've done a certain amount of generators and you're one of the last survivors left, a little hatch will open which will let you basically escape without finishing doing the generators, because it would be pretty tough if it was just you and the killer left and you had to like fix a bunch of generators. That would be it would be a little difficult to say the least, because you'd have to it'd be you by yourself trying to do things, and all the killer has to do is just just find wherever you are and then go and grab you, and then that's like game over for you. So it can be a little difficult. So that's why I assume they put it in. But the game itself, really fun. Highly recommend it to anyone. Like if you're looking for a game to kind of play, or you're tired of dealing with like a team that's never coordinated, and you just want to play, and you want to play the game, and you want to win at the game, then that could be a potential game for you. Just because it's so, it's very much like if you're playing the killer, it's all you. If you make a mistake, the onus is on you. You're the one that made the mistake. So, and you're the only person that can really, that you can really look to go, okay, yeah, I guess I was the one that made that mistake, and I can, do this and this and this to fix it. So that next time you come into that scenario, you can potentially fix it. And if you're looking for a game to kind of play with your friends, where you want to do like some PvP, but you don't want it to be super crazy serious, then that could be a fun game. Well, at least a fun game to play with your buddies for that reason. But one of the other things that I'm really interested in is I really want to get into, well, I don't know if I really want to get into it, because I don't want to say that I want to get into it and then get into it and not have a good time, I guess, with doing it. Because I really would like to, do game development, because I think that game development is really cool. It's just really cool. Ever since I was little, and I've been playing these video games, I've always been enraptured by how cool it is to like see people play video games, and their reactions to different things. As an example, whenever I was in high school, I used to have like a fancy graphing calculator, but it was, at the time it was called a TI-85. I think it was an 85. And with the TI-85, I had like spent a bunch of time, kind of just making video games on it. And I designed like a short little puzzle game that I thought was really cool. And all you did was kind of move around a map, and you had bombs and keys and different things like that. And the bombs and the keys were just kind of a means to get to an end area. And I gave it to a bunch of my friends, and hey, let me know how you think of it. I think I made like 10 levels for it or something like that. And I used the programming language on the calculator to basically just create the game. And I thought it was pretty cool. My buddies at the time that I gave it to, I don't know if they were just trying to be nice about it, or if they really did think it was cool. They very much well could have thought it was pretty cool. So, but they did tell me that it was pretty cool, and they're like, oh man, yeah, I totally played it. you know, during my chemistry class or during my geometry class or whatnot, you know, whatever math class they were in at the time. And they're like, oh, it was pretty fun, in my opinion. And I was like, oh, really? You know, how far did you get? And they're like, oh, I got to, like, you know, level 4. And that to me felt really good, like, internally. Because I was like, oh, man, I had buddies. They played through the game, and they really enjoyed it. And they thought it was, you know, they thought it was really cool. And I thought it was really cool just to kind of have that experience, just to be able to go, oh yeah, totally. And that's kind of what sparked me to want to, you know, to think to myself, man, you know, it'd be really cool if maybe I can get into game development and learn to play games, or not learn to play games, but learn to be good at games and learn how to, like, what people like and what people don't like. Really weird to see level 7 where level 6 normally is. But yeah, that is one of the things that I've always wanted to do, is just kind of you know, get into being a video game designer. I'm always thinking about those kinds of things. I'm always thinking about, oh man, that'd be really cool if you could do that in this game, or oh, that'd be really cool if there was a game that was kind of like this, or if this part of this game got changed just a little bit. That's why I really enjoy watching, or I guess seeing different, like, ROM hacks for games, you know, like the ROM hacks for Mario, some of the ROM hacks for the Zelda games. Like, those are really cool to me as well, just because, you know, you get to see all kinds of creativity that, you know, people might, you know, that people have whenever they're given the tools to be able to do different things. And I always thought that was, you know, kind of neat, just to be able to see that and be like, oh wow, you know, I would have never thought to do that kind of thing, or I never. You know, I never thought that would be something that you can do with that type of, you know, with that type of game. Like, there's, I know there's a Zelda, it's called, like, Outworld or something like that. And I thought, every time I've seen that, like, I thought to myself, man, I kind of want to play it. And I think I remember playing it on, I think it was called Nesticle, which was a website that was set up to play Nintendo games, and you can kind of pick what you wanted from, like, a list of different ROMs that they had, and I ended up picking that one because I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, and I could, you know, I wanted to try it out because I loved, you know, as you know, I do love Zelda. And, you know, it'd be really cool to be able to, you know, I thought it'd be really cool to play, like, a ROM like that. And so, you know, I just kind of, I went through and I tried to play it a little bit, but it was rather difficult. Like, I couldn't do a lot of things on it, and I was like, oh, I wonder if it's because, you know, I need to learn some of the techniques or whatnot that, you know, the people who do the speed runs, you know, need or use in order to actually play through. And it actually wasn't the case that I needed to do that. I just needed to learn how to play in that particular ROM. So I did get to play it just a little bit, but not like a whole lot. I don't even think I got to the first level because there was, like, some things about it that I just, for some reason, my brain couldn't wrap itself around anything that was going on. So that was kind of an interesting thing as well. But I definitely would like to do some type of game development, or just maybe, like, see what game development is like for, you know, for different things, because I always feel like I have, or at least, you know, I feel like I have, you know, good ideas for different games in general. And, you know, I'm like, oh, well, why wouldn't they, like, include something like this, or include something like this, or why wouldn't they put this inside of the game, and why would they just put this inside of it? And I've had buddies that I talk to, and they kind of tell me, yeah, you always got some really good ideas about what to do in the games and different things like that. Have you ever looked into maybe doing that? Doing that as a job? And I've often thought about it. I even kind of went to at school to kind of learn a bit about it, and because I was kind of worried that I would that I wouldn't do very well. And at the time, a lot of what you had to do was like basic college stuff. So it's like they kind of marketed it as, hey, you can learn to be a game developer, but we still want you to do all this other stuff that you don't really care about. We want you to take English classes and read a bunch of these old books, and we don't want to go into the part where you learn how to be a game developer or meet with people in the business about being a game developer. And I was like, oh, well then what the heck's the point of being in here when everything I can do can simply be done if I go to like another school that's like much cheaper, like go to a community college school. And like that was the part that really annoyed me the most about it, was just that particular part. So, and I think after that happened, I really didn't have a whole lot of drive to be able to like do a whole lot. I was like, oh man, I don't even want to try to go through and do anything fancy or learn about anything. I'm just going to kind of drift through life, essentially. Just gonna find something else, because this seems way more annoying than it needs to be. And to an extent, I feel that was a pretty dumb move on my part. Unfortunately, there's not really a whole lot else I can kind of do, like mentally right now. I do want to go back to school though, because I really want to like go back and do that thing that I want to do. I want to be able to make video games or make this style of content. Funny enough, I've even downloaded a bunch of different downloaded and purchased, I should say, a bunch of different types of just like, I wouldn't say like game editors, but I downloaded like Godot, and I have all the different RPG Maker games, or I guess not games, but all the different like RPG Maker versions. Like I've purchased them all. So I do have those things available to me, and I could spend some time, and in fact, I probably should really spend some time just kind of doing more of those things. I also really enjoy programming, so that's, I guess if you're like a game dev, you don't really do as much, well, I don't want to say you don't do as much like computer stuff. What would you call it? You don't really do a lot of programming as as the developer. At least I don't think you would, because as a developer you're spending a lot more time trying to design your game properly. So you're doing a lot more how everything kind of works together. I mean, and I feel that if you were to do it the other way, you might be stretching yourself a little too thin at that point, because you're trying to balance doing well as far as like developing the game and then coding the game. I would just imagine that it'd be really difficult to be able to do all of that. So, you know, I could be completely wrong, and there could be, you know, it could just be, you know, the way I think about it, and it could just, like I said, it could just be completely wrong, and I could just be, you know, how would I put that? It could just be my brain and the fact that I'm not like that well versed in it, and I'm sure if I spent some time learning, that I could, you know, I could potentially, you know, get that information and figure those things out. And, you know, maybe just like interact with some people from that industry, and just kind of see like how they go about doing things, and how they go about you know, kind of their day-to-day. Aww. I thought I could do it, I guess not. But yeah, just like getting their kind of like take on, you know, everything that's you know, everything that their job entails. Because I think that it would be pretty interesting to at least, you know, have that insight and be like, oh, okay, so this is more, you know, what it's like for, you know, for being a game developer. This is, you know, this is what you spend like a majority of your time on, and they could be like, yeah, we, you know, we spend a lot of our time doing X, Y, or Z. So I think it'd always be really cool to, you know, to go to like a game development studio, even if it's like a small one, and just kind of see what people do, and like everyone's kind of interactions with each other. And it's like, oh yeah, you know, as a game dev, you know, we spend, you know, we have these people that do this, and we have these people that do this, and, you know, because I know that some places have, you know, like multiple different people that do things, and some places have much fewer people that do things, so it would be pretty cool. You know, sadly, I don't know anyone that's like in game development that, you know, could, that's not a knife, this is a knife. Fair enough, sir, fair enough. That's pretty good. Ooh. But yeah, I think it would be pretty cool to just go through and like learn more from those kind of people, or, you know, maybe even go to those different places and kind of, you know, see how everything works. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy and silly, but I think it'd be pretty fun. Let's see. As far as like, oh, as far as ideas that I kind of would have, I don't really want to say too much or too many. Oh wow. I don't want to say, you know, a bunch of silly things, but you know, I really enjoy, you know, these style of games. I really enjoy, you know, Metroidvania style games, and I've often thought about making a Metroidvania style game, because I think it'd be really cool. Just because, you know, I'd get the opportunity to be able to, you know, create in a genre that I absolutely love, and, you know, maybe I make something that's like the next, you know, the next cool thing. Like I really enjoy Hollow Knight. I think that was one of the coolest games ever. I never like actually beat it. I think I got like, I don't even think I got halfway through it, to be honest. I think I don't remember a whole lot about it now that I think about it. So but it still was I think a really cool game, just because there was so much to the actual game itself, and watching a bunch of people that would go through and they would play the game, and I was like, whoa, you can, you know, you can do that kind of thing, and you can do that kind of thing, and I was like, oh, that's really neat, you know. And maybe, maybe one day I'll get a chance to, go through and play the game and do those cool things as well. But, if, I might just, I very much look forward to playing that game one day. Maybe on here, maybe one of these times after I finish going through and playing the different Zelda games, or playing this particular Zelda game. Or Zelda series. Would this be more of a series? Perhaps. But going through and playing Hollow Knight, I think would be pretty fun. Just because it's in general a fun game. And being able to kind of experience it for the first time, which is another one of my favorite things. I really enjoy watching people play through a game for the first time, or watching people experience a game for the first time, or experience a movie for the first time. That's another one of the things that I just really like watching. This is bad. But I think that's another part of why I really enjoy YouTube, because especially the recent wave of VTubers and different things like that. I really thought that was awesome. And, I get to see anime avatars playing games that I enjoy for the first time. And some of them, they're really good at at playing those games, and you're like, holy cow. You get to see some crazy skills, or you get to see you get to be there along for the ride to watch them succeed at playing the game, or fail at playing the game, and just you get to have that moment of being there for that time. And I always thought that kind of stuff was really cool. And so being able to watch them do it, it's also it's super neat for me. There was a big boom where everyone was kind of playing through all kinds of different games, and I think one of the big ones was Super Metroid, or just Metroid style games to begin with. And I thought that was pretty cool. I gotta watch them go and play a game that I played a long time ago, back whenever I was young, and I just get to watch them, and it's you see them and it's oh man, they don't know that you can do this, or they don't know that you can do that, or what are they doing this for? It'd be so much easier if they were to do it like this. And for me, it's just, I think the enjoyment comes from being able to see people play through a game for the first time. And that's kind of more of what I'm about. I'm more about watching people play that game for the first time, and just their reactions to that for the first time. It's oh, I didn't know about that, or I didn't know that was a thing that could happen. So that in and of itself was pretty cool to me. Being able to just watch people do that. And I think I don't really know if I can name a bunch of them that I think are my favorites. There are some that I just really enjoy watching. Of the Japanese ones, there's a large number of those. There's a lot of independent ones that are really fun to watch as well. I guess if I have to kind of drop some names, I would say my absolute favorite Japanese VTuber that's part of a big company would, or at least or I guess I could say it's like for each company, because I do like VTubers from, you know, the two big companies from Japan. There's Hololive and Niji Sanji, and I kind of have favorites in both of those. You know, as far as just like them, like the I don't want to say, how would I put it? Just like the companies in general, and like there's different like regions for each version, and they like just recently came out with the English ones. But for the Japanese Hololive, I definitely love Aki Rose. She's probably my favorite. Her voice sounds really soothing to just listen to. It's one of those voices where you can literally just listen to it for, you know, for hours. At least I can, because it's not overly exciting, it's not, or overly like energetic, or, you know, like over the top. And it's just she has a very relaxed voice, you know, whenever she does talk. So it is something that I just really enjoy kind of listening to. So I can, how would I put it? Like a lot of people say that she has the big sister voice, you know, where her voice has more of the I'm a big sister vibe. You know, I'm your big sister kind of vibe. Like, that's the best way to put it without it going weird. And then the Niji Sanjis, there are two that I like. But the two that I like are actually from the EN portion of the Niji Sanji. There's the Pomo Rainpuff. I love Pomo. she's kind of like the opposite of Aki. She's, you know, usually filled with energy, and she's always ready to, you know, be excited about everything. And it's really funny to just hear her talk and kind of just ramble on about different things and just try and play games and whatnot. It's very relaxed. That's the best way I can put it. It's just energetic and relaxed all at the same time. And like her different sayings are pretty funny as well. The funny thing was, like, I followed her from where she was previously, because she was an independent VTuber, and then, you know, she got picked up by the Niji Sanji EN. And one of the things that I'm pretty happy about was just being able to, you know, like, I watched her whenever she was the independent one, and then as soon as she went to the Niji Sanji and I found out, I was like, oh my god, I totally have to follow her and you know, join her membership and all that, and just kind of just enjoy her streams. You know, she talks a lot about a lot of different things, and it's just really, I don't know, it's just, to me, it's really entertaining, as far as like how she reacts to different things, and just how how happy she is to just be there. So that part's always fun, at least for me. Let's see, and then there is another person from Niji Sanji that I really like, and that's the Rosemi. I really like her too. She's super goofy, and just like her streams are, you know, kind of like Pomo's. They're filled with energy, so, you know, you get to kind of have that. And then, oddly enough, like, there are a bunch of like characters, or I guess you know, other Hololive people, like like I guess as far as EN goes, or Hololive goes, the I do like a lot of the EN characters, as well as a lot of the other, you know, Japanese characters. I would say if I had to kind of pick, because there's a lot of, I like Gura. Gura's pretty funny. Of the new ones that came out, because there was like a new set of Hololive characters that came out. It's a lot of people are in Team Crony, and I could definitely see why they would be in Team Crony. Just because, you know, she has a lot of assets, so a lot going for her, if you will. So, you know, I could see why a lot of people would definitely enjoy her or her character. You know, I do like Gura, and again, I kind of used to watch Gura before she was in the Hololive, and I'm not trying to like flex or you know, hey, I was with this before it was popular. It was mostly just like, I follow a lot of YouTube shenanigans. Like, you know, I've been watching YouTube for a pretty long time. Like, since it was, you know, this particular channel that I made is relatively new, but you know, I've been around on the platform since it was YouTube. And I didn't really create like an account or do really anything on the website other than just kind of watch videos. So it was pretty unique. Back in the day, there was a lot of crazy stuff on the YouTubes, but like I said, it's always interesting to me to just kind of see how things evolve. And just been watching all the different things. You know what, I'll get this. And then say, who else would I I don't know. I can't really think of like anyone that I would put above anyone else. Like there's a lot of like good talent in both of the camps of both Hololive and Niji Sanji. Like, I don't think I can, you know, pick one over the other as far as like groups and like different characters over other characters. You know, there's characters like Fubuki who are just hilarious. And it's just a pleasure to, you know, to just watch. Like, she's always super emotional and like in a lot of games. You know, if you go through and like watch a lot of the different characters in Niji Sanji, you know, they love what they do, and there's never really a day where they don't love what they do. And like I can really, you know, I can really see that in like how they act. Like, there's so many different characters just in there, and like a lot of the Niji Sanji ones are really talented at singing, and it's pretty crazy to just watch them sing. Just like, wow. Like, and it doesn't matter if they're male or female. It's super crazy, and I just like, wow, what was it that I watched? There was something. I'm trying to remember what. But it was, you know, it was like a festival where it was a festival where, you know, there was a bunch of Hololive people and there was a bunch of Niji Sanji people, and like it was just so amazing, you know, to just kind of watch them do their thing. And I was just blown away by it. I was like, wow, you know, I didn't think the Niji Sanji people would be able to, you know, be able to sing, because that's kind of what brought me into the Hololive, was just listening to them sing, because it was amazing. You know, they were so talented in like in just how they sang. And I was and that was what kind of brought me to Aki Rose in the very beginning. It was just because she was so good at singing. I was like, holy cow. And like she had her, you know, I guess the others in the Hololive had their songs too, but I never really noticed them until, you know, till later on. And you know, there's a bunch of people that are in the Niji Sanji that have really amazing songs. I can't name her off the bat, but I think it's like her name's Tora, I think. And she has a song, and I listened to that one song for, gosh, I don't even know how long. I listened to it probably for an hour or so, just because it was so good. It was such an amazing song, and it was one of the ones that she sung for Imagination, which I guess is the Niji Sanji like little album thing that they did. And I was like, wow, just blown away by that. So, you know, it was pretty crazy. just to kind of see how, or just to kind of listen to those, to them sing, and just because it's, I wouldn't want to say that's like one of my biggest things, but it's definitely something that I really, really enjoy. You know, when it comes to watching stuff on YouTube or listening to people on YouTube, I really enjoy music and people that can sing. I'm always in awe by, you know, people that are talented like that and just being creative, because I don't ever feel like I can be creative myself, or that I am a creative person, even though I'm trying. You know, I always feel like, oh man, I guess that stems from being a perfectionist, or at least trying to be. But there's just so much going on that, you know, as far as being able to be creative in that aspect and being able to sing, and it's just, I'm always blown away by that kind of stuff. And, you know, I myself, like, love to sing. I'm just really bad at it, as with, as with many people. So, you know, it doesn't kind of stop me, but, like, the fact that they do, you know, these are the kind of people, like, they do it, and it's just like something that happens for them. It's like an everyday thing. Just, I mad props for that. Like, I wish I could do that. I definitely wish that I could. You know, and I think that, you know, I do enjoy, or at least I would enjoy going out to, like, karaoke and different things like that. But, you know, I'd feel, I don't know, I guess I wouldn't say I'd be embarrassed to do it, but I'd feel bad if, you know, I'd feel bad for all the people that were there that would have to listen to me sing. Because, you know, I don't think I'm that great at with the singing voice part of everything. But, you know, you never know. You know, I could one day be a great singer. That would be pretty cool. The great singer, programmer, songwriter, doing everything, probably not. But, you know, one can dream. And that would be really cool, I guess, at least to make a game that people would like. I probably just need to, you know, just one day just kind of do it. I mean that you know, you're never gonna be good at anything until you try to be good at it. So, you know, I guess that's the quote of the day. Is that how you would go? Like the quote of the day? You're not gonna know how good or bad you are at something until you actually try to be good or bad at it. And you know, that's kind of what I have been trying to do. You know, I'm not that great at making videos or editing videos, but I'm trying out different things and seeing what I can do, and you know what I can work with, because there's definitely a lot that goes into, you know, making videos that I knew there was a lot that went into it, but I never, like, you know, thought there'd be as much as there is. You know, I expected it to be a little bit easier, but I can see why people enjoy it, because it's really cool to, you know, just kind of go through, create a video, and then, you know, finally complete that video, and then, you know, see how people kind of react to that video, or just how that video does, or even just doing the video. You know, creating something. Like I said, I don't ever feel like I'm super creative with anything, but being able to see that video get completed, it's kind of reminiscent of how could I put it, like finishing something with your hands. Like you go through and you create something and you're just like, you know, you've done this cool thing and you've made this cool thing, and you know, now you kind of you know, have people that like it. I guess you could also call it like a model train set, or like Minecraft. You know, those kinds of things are way more fun whenever you have, you know, friends or people to kind of share it with, and you're like, hey, look at this cool thing that I did inside of Minecraft, or look at this, you know, cool room that I built inside of my house. You know, those kinds of things are always interesting to the people who share that same type of interest. You know, if you love collecting, you know, anime figurines, like those Funko Pop things, or if you like, you know, just collecting random anime things, you know, you would definitely, you know, love to see somebody's like collection, if they've got a bunch of Funko Pop figurines, or they've got a bunch of, you know, anime figurines, or, you know, they've got a bunch of like something from, you know, video game series, or like an anime series, or a movie or a TV show that you really like, or maybe even, you know, to some extent like a sports team. You know, if you do a lot of sports, you know, that could definitely be a big thing. Like maybe they've got a you know, huge collection of, you know, some kind of football team. You're like, oh my gosh, you got this from, you know, this team. Oh, that's so cool, you know, and they get to see that, and they get to go, oh man, I love that team, and you know, they get that opportunity to have the, or I guess to be able to see that thing that they like, you know, in like somebody else's house, and it's like an opportunity to be able to kind of share in that elation that you would have for that kind of thing. You know, like I have friends that collect a bunch of Funko Pop things, or that collect some anime figurines, or collect some kind of something. And, you know, like being able to see them and their collection, you're just like, oh dude, that's super cool. you know, that you have all that stuff and you got it kind of organized in like a way that makes it look like maybe a scene from the movie or a scene from the game, or you know, you have the things kind of organized in a way where you can kind of see everything. And you know, my grandpa himself, he loves to, for some reason, he loves to collect things. I'm not exactly too sure why, but yeah, I'm sure there's a reason that's, you know, very similar to, you know, why other people collect things, because, you know, they want to collect cool things. So it is something that I think is really neat. Let's see. Ooh. I don't know why I'm tired. I didn't even sleep a whole lot. Well, maybe that was why. I don't sleep a whole lot. But it's really weird because I'm usually not too tired, like hardly ever. I'm usually very, very much awake for extended periods of time and then asleep for brief periods. Actually, I want this. But yeah, I think that part of my life is a little weird. Just that I'm always a little tired. It's not like super tired, but it's not. Oh, how would I put it? It's not like I'm not super tired, but I'm definitely not like wide awake. And it might be, maybe it's because I just haven't had my coffee yet. I got that all set up. I've been spending too much time doing non-coffee related things. But I know there's a lot of people that are like that. They have to have their coffee, and if they don't have their coffee, it's like it's game over for them. Like their day cannot begin until that happens, which is always entertaining. And you get to watch them go, man, life without coffee's hard. And I guess I do have some friends that are kind of like that with energy drinks as well, and I'm kind of like that, or at least I was very often. You know, I needed to have my my 1 or 2 or 4 energy drinks a day in order to properly function. Without them, you know, there was no function. So I do understand that, at least that pain, you know, when it comes to doing stuff, but I think I've kind of moved that over to coffee. It also gives me a chance to, you know, to talk with my family and just kind of interact with them a little bit. Because, you know, for a long time, I never really did a whole lot with my family. I never really did a whole lot of interacting. You know, when I turned 18, I just, it was bail time. I was like, all right, I'm going to do some other things in my life. You guys have fun. See ya. So, you know, being able to like sit down and interact with them again, it does feel pretty good. So, you know, having that bit of interaction, you know, I feel that it's something that everyone should have. And I should have, you know, done all this stuff a little bit earlier in my day, but I was, as like everyone else, I was a little lazy. So that's, I guess you have to kind of take it as it is sometimes. But let this be a lesson: procrastination is bad. You shouldn't procrastinate too much. see, kind of like me, like I have no clue where I'm going in my game. I mean, it does make me kind of wonder if there's like other people that kind of fall into that same type of boat where, you know, like, I know that's a very, like a lot of families in the United States that kind of happens. Like there's always this kick out, like you're 18, you're 21, or you're this age. You need to get out the house. You need to go do this or go do this. You need to, spread your wings and do whatever. And I'm always kind of like bothered by that type of mentality. It's like I understand that that you definitely want that, but at the same time it gets rid of, you're kind of pushing the people out of your life in an essence. Like even if you really aren't, it does kind of feel that way to the kids. You feel like you're pushing them out of your life for whatever reason. Maybe I'm just crazy, but a lot of times a lot of the times it's what it feels like. You need to get out of the house and have your own life with your kids or with your own family. You need to have a bunch of different things, and it's like if you don't like succeed in that aspect of your life, and it becomes a real big problem. And I think families just they push each other away a little too much sometimes. Like I understand it's something that's it's gonna happen. Kids are gonna get older, people are gonna get older. But at the same time, like you have to. Oh, so close. But at the same time, like I feel that people need to, or families, I guess, should do a little bit more to kind of include everyone and not push everyone away. But I think that in the United States, I feel that happens a bit too much. I understand that it is something that's gonna happen no matter what, but just because kids are kids. But you shouldn't so much forsake having your family or being there for your family. And having them back in my life has felt really good to me. And I very much appreciate my family for that. I don't think I'm getting anywhere in that room. Can't kill the guys fast enough still. But yeah, I'm not really good at explaining things. But yeah, definitely, if you have kids and you're like you're an adult, or you're in there and your kids are little, don't shove them out just yet. Give them some time. Don't let them walk all over you. You don't want that. But at the same time, don't be pushing them out the door. Like I think that aspect of my life, because that's kind of what happened to me, was I was kind of pushed out the door when I turned 18. And to be fair, I don't really fault my mom for that. I was really bad when I was growing up, but at the same time, like I felt, or I at least, I feel that as Americans, that's kind of like the thing that everyone's shooting for, is to get out of the house as soon as possible and establish your own self, or I guess establish establish your life on your terms as you. And they don't, no one really thinks about, well, it feels like, you know, with each generation, no one really thinks about, or they don't really think about the previous generation. And I always feel bad for that, because, I always think it's fascinating listening to older people talk, even if it is kind of silly, you know, as far as like, you know, like what they might say and things that they do, because I do know that a lot of people that are older, they tend to kind of ramble, and then the younger people, they tend to kind of see it and just, you know, they're like, oh, it's whatever, it's just, you know, it's just grandpa being grandpa, or it's just mom being mom, or grandma being grandma, or great-grandpa being great-grandpa. You remember the time? But it's funny because I often think that myself. I'm like, man, I remember a time whenever, you know, I was in high school, or whenever I was in school, or, you know, whenever I was little, and this was a thing that was, you know, that was going on in the world. It's always interesting to just kind of take a moment whenever you hear yourself do that. I remember when, and then you're like, oh yeah, probably need to not do that. But it is still pretty funny when you kind of think about it, because, you know, with each generation, they look at the previous generation and they're judging them by, you know, their morals and like how they feel. And I think sometimes it gets put too much on the younger generation. They tend to look at things and think about them, you know, a bit differently, and they don't, you know, the older generations, they don't really think about like how everything kind of like, how things are for that generation, because they don't really know. That's not so much that they don't know, it's just that they don't see things the way that the other generation does, or that younger generation does. They're seeing it through their eyes. And a lot of times, like, as you get older, and I often see it myself, you know, in myself, where I'm like looking at things, and I'm not really, how do I put it? I'm not really paying attention to like how everything is now versus how it was earlier in my life. You know, like, oh, I was thinking about, you know, video games at this point in my life, and like how they were, and everything's changed, and this, and it's like, you know, that old adage of, I guess if you're an internet meme guy or an internet meme person, you know, you understand the idea of, you know, boomer talk. And a lot of times that's kind of the way it definitely seems. It's like, it's, you know, when you think about it, it's like, oh man, that boomer talk. And I don't know if I should be mad that I think like that, or if that's just, you know, that's just the way things are now. You know, it's all about that boomer talk. But, you know, I definitely feel that you know, that way at a lot of times, where it's like, ah man, I feel like I'm just having that boomer moment where, you know, I'm just talking under my butt about something that happened, you know, back in my day. Or I guess it would be really funny to kind of think about it as like a King of the Hill moment. Which, very funny show. I definitely enjoy that show. That was one of the shows that I used to watch a lot growing up. And also, I'd like to apologize, I did not have my timer on for the run. But it has been about an hour since I started the run. So again, I'm really sorry I was not paying attention to that when I started everything. I thought I started all the stuff, and like I had my timer highlighted, but I was looking, I was like, wait a minute. I don't have my clock running. Oh well, that might be bad. I definitely need to have the timer there. I guess I can, like I said, I could probably go off of like the duration of how long everything's kind of taken and just kind of go off of that. Because right now it's been about an hour and 14-ish minutes. At least for me right now. It's been about an hour and 14 minutes, so hopefully, you know, I can just kind of write down how long it took. I guess I'll, or I could potentially like superimpose a timer on there or something. I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure it out a little later. So, I guess I'm really sorry about that. My bad. I was going on my boomer rant, and I didn't want you guys to be mad. Oh, nice. That went a lot smoother than previous times. But yeah, I can definitely see a lot of I can definitely see what a lot of old people say whenever they talk about things, or they go off on tangents and whatnot. I'm like, oh. And when that happens to me, I think about it, I'm like, ah, yeah, that's right. That's a thing. Yeah, but you know, hopefully, I'll stop doing that, and then I can just, you know, go to not being so much of a, I don't want to call it boomer talk, but just like be a bit more open in like how I think, because I definitely don't want to be a super close-minded person. It's kind of like the opposite of what I want. I mean, I try my best to not be that way. Every so often, you know, I do dumb guy things, and that's just the nature of life. You go through and you do just dumb guy things. Or dumb person things, I guess I should say. I shouldn't apply gender to everyone. I mean, as far as I know, I'm a guy, but you know, and I think that's like another part of life, is just accepting other people for other people, and not disliking other people because of either their life choices or the fact that they don't feel that they have a choice with doing certain things. Because I know there's a lot of people that are like that. They think they feel judged by absolutely everyone, and that's part of why I try not to be like that. I try not to be a super judgmental person. I do have a tendency to have too playful of a personality, I guess, is a good way to put it. But I still try my best to just basically not be a butt. It doesn't always follow through, or I can't always follow through, I guess I should say. But you know, because there are sometimes there are issues where, you know, it just happens, it comes out, and you can't really help it. Well, yes, you can help it, but I guess you can help it, but most of the time people don't. Sadly, I try, but you know, it doesn't always work. You can't win every battle, I guess I should say. Oh, excellent. I was actually looking for one of these. I wanted to get one just in case. I mean, I do wonder a lot about people as well. That's kind of one of the other things that I do is I spend a lot of time thinking too much about how other people, I guess, I don't want to say react, but like how a lot of people kind of, like why they do what they do. Because I'm always fascinated by why people do the things that they do when they do them. You know, whether it's them doing whether it's them doing something that, you know, you might think is not right or is right, you know, whatever it is. You know, it's always like, I always wonder why people, you know, why people would steal from steal from anywhere. Like, if, you know, I understand the point behind it. Like, you're stealing it because you either can't afford that thing that you're trying to steal, or the thing that you're trying to steal is, you're trying to do it, I guess, for the thrill of the, you know, of taking something. So, like, I understand that aspect, but, like, there are some parts where it doesn't make sense to me. And, I'm just, you know, like, I want to know, because to me that's fascinating. To me, I don't understand why you would do that, and I would like to know why you would do that. So just, you know, getting that information from people is, you know, to me, that's way more interesting than just about anything. Yeah, I'm sorry, I gotta focus on killing this guy here. Or, you know, catch the dead guy. There we go. But yeah, like, you know, just how people interact with each other, why they do some of the things that they do, you know, why they enjoy some of the things that they enjoy. That's why a lot of times I really like watching like videos where people talk to those kinds of people, and they're like, you know, why are you doing this, or why are you doing that? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That is what it is. But you know, or just like why people have a psychology, or why people do some of the things that they do, like the psychology behind it. Just listening to those people kind of talk about those people or with those people, to me, is always fascinating. I've already got the 4 drops on the bitch. Wait, no I didn't. But, yeah, like, and the other thing is I also really love, you know, like the psychology behind, like, just people in general. Like, why does someone get depressed, or why is someone like a narcissist, or why does someone, you know, think that, you know, they're, you know, why does some people think that they know what they're talking about when they don't know what they're talking about? And just like the psychology of people, to me, that's super fascinating, because, you know, it's like, what are you doing, my guy? You know, you don't understand all this stuff about life. I mean, you can think you do, but you know, I don't really think you know all the stuff that you think you know. You know, and I guess as a basic example, like I have somebody that I know that's like super narcissistic. Like, they don't think that they could do anything wrong. They don't feel they've ever done anything wrong in their life, and that everyone else has wronged them. And I mean, they've been in and out of relationships. They've been married multiple times, and it's always, you know, whenever they leave, it's always the other person's fault. It's never their fault or anything they did. It was because the other person somehow deceived them with, you know, some kind of cunning that they couldn't foresee, and so now they're, you know, they're this huge victim, and it's just like you have that person, and like you know, you interact with them, and you're just like, what is wrong with you? Why do you think like this? Like, what if, you know, what's going on inside of your head that, you know, this is an okay thing that you think of, you know, that you're doing? You know, like, that's like, what you're doing is not an okay thing. It's 100% the opposite of okay. And, you know, it's just like, it blows my mind whenever I would interact with them, you know, because they don't know what they're doing. they act like the entire world's just falling down on them, and that everybody's like the worst thing ever except for them. They're the best thing since sliced bread. And it's just like, you're just like, what? But yeah, it's it is interesting. So just to kind of I guess, I don't want to say be around those people, but like it's always fascinating to see, you know, how those people think, and just like what they do, you know, like how they can think that what they're doing is perfectly okay. You know, it always, it's just so crazy. I don't even know how to explain it properly. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have, you know, that have had interactions with a person like that, or maybe someone like that's in their, you know, in their family. And, you know, to you, you're like, oh yeah, you know, like I have a brother that's like that, or I have a cousin that's like that, or I have, you know, my mom is like that. You know, there's, speaking of things that are like that with the family, there's like this one channel I used to watch a whole bunch. I haven't watched it a lot lately because I've been just kind of preoccupied with a lot of other things. But it was called Theremin Trees, and the person that was on that channel, he often talks about like his family in that same way. Like I guess his mom was like super mom was like super controlling, and she was always, you know, trying to get him, you know, the guy who had the channel, he was trying to get him to, you know, do different things for her, or, you know, to, what was it? There's one story that he tells where he says that, you know, one time his mom told him, you know, she didn't want him, or she wanted him to help her and not eat, you know, sweets. And he's like, okay, so, you know, like, I guess he snuck into like the kitchen or something, and he saw her eating or he saw her like getting ready to eat a donut, and she was just sitting there holding the donut, not actually eating it. And she was essentially kind of waiting for him to come in so that she could get caught. So that, you know, she could, don't blame me, I voted for agging him. But it was just like, it was so crazy, because like he was talking about it, and he's like, you know, she was waiting for him to come in to be able to catch her, so that, you know, he could say, what are you doing? And then I guess she could, you know, get all mad at him about, you know, whatever was going on. And, you know, yell at him about yelling at her about something that she told him to yell about. I can't remember like what he called it. It was like double standard, or not double standard. It was double something, and it was just essentially someone, you know, using their you know, trying to control the narrative, I guess you could say, on whatever was going on. That's why I find it really fascinating to watch certain things on the internet. Like, I don't I don't know how to put it properly without saying those people's names. But, you know, basically it's just there are certain people that are on the internet, like certain internet personalities that are not the greatest of people, and don't have the greatest of personalities, and they're just in my opinion they're just bad people. But you know, I don't like to riff on anyone. You know, it's because it's pretty bad. But yeah, I definitely would say the name of the channel was, again, there was Theremin Trees. You know, very similar, or it's you know, the theremin, like the what is it? I can't remember what it's a theremin's just like an instrument, but it's spelled exactly like the instrument, and then it's just trees. And to be fair, like, I really like theremin, and I think that's what turned me on to the channel, is just because I like the theremin sound. It's the instrument that you would hear, like the spooky sound you'd hear in whenever you would see trees inside of like a scary movie. I don't really know how else to put it, but it was like the ooh sound that you'd hear. I think that's the best way to put it. Oh, I just made me sound like an idiot, but that's okay. Sometimes you gotta sound like an idiot, and you know what? I'm okay with that. But yeah, it's I definitely recommend his channel. His channel was pretty good for me, simply because I enjoyed that, listening to his philosophical, you know, talk about different aspects of his life and just his family and all that. I found it really, really neat. Oh. And I really hope I'm not the only one who kind of thinks like that. You know, I'm sure there's or at least I like to hope that there's other people out there that have the same type of healthy fascination. That's I think that's the best way to put it. That's kind of the best way to put it, as far as you know, what's kind of going on with like people. Just a healthy fascination. Like, I don't obsess over it or anything crazy, but it is always neat to kind of have those types of interactions. Sure, I click on that. No. Well, I guess a better way to think about it would be like, it's good to have that kind of like thought process, to where, you know, you're thinking about the different things, you know, thinking about different people and just kind of getting other people's perspective on everything. And I don't really have a whole lot else too much to talk about. Thankfully I'm almost done with this particular run, and it hasn't been too long. It's only been about an hour and a half, and I just got one more stage I have to really run through. I guess I don't have to be too talkative for too much longer, and I can go back to doing that thing that I normally do, which will be going through and editing the video, sorta. Alright. Well, I guess some other fascinating things that I really enjoy. Ooh. some other fascinating things that I really enjoy. I really like the, what is it? It's like, it's astronomy, but it's not, I really enjoy, I don't want to say astrophysics, but I enjoy, because I'm not a huge physics person. I like science, but you know, there's a limit to the different things that I definitely enjoy. And it's not physics, it's just like, I guess it's more astronomy in general. You know, kind of a big fan of just astronomy in general. Like looking out at the cosmos and different things like that, or looking out at the world. It might have something to do with it might have something to do with Carl Sagan when I was growing up. And oh yeah, that's right, I don't have that. It might have something to do with Carl Sagan, you know, whenever I was growing up. And, you know, later on in my life, Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know, huge fan of Mr. Tyson. He actually, believe it or not, he has a channel here on YouTube, and it's called Star Talk. And he talks a lot about stars. I know it's odd. He also talks a lot about, you know, like physics and just a bunch of random things. Like one of the things I found super fascinating was his talk that he did, or he was talking about colors and just like how people perceive color, and how color is basically the absence of that color, and it's not really anything else. Yeah, it was a really fascinating talk about colors, and just like how the colors that we see are basically just the colors that are not there at all. So whenever we see something that's blue, it's actually the object is pulling all of the blue out of wherever it is that we're looking, and there's just a complete absence of blue. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the fact that there's no blue there, and that that I always thought that was kind of weird. I was like, what do you mean there's no blue there? I'm seeing blue. And in his you know, his explanation was, well, you know, it's basically the blue is getting pulled out, or the purple is getting pulled out, or, you know, whatever the color is, it's being held back by by whatever it's connected, or whatever's on that, or whatever you're looking at is absorbing that color. So you're not, so, you know, the way your body or the way your eyes perceive it is it perceives all the other colors, but it, you know, it doesn't perceive, or it's not pulling light from that color. So whenever you see something that's red, it's actually because it's reflecting back all the colors that aren't red, and red is, or it's you know, pulling in all the colors that aren't red, and it's, you know, releasing light that is red. So yeah, I think I was messing up when I was explaining that. my bad. But it's like he's saying that it's like or maybe I was saying it right. Maybe it's absorbing the red, and it's like, it's because like whenever you see something that is red, it's actually you know, there's an absence of red. So like if you shine a red light on it, whenever you see it, it's like completely black. So I did think that was kind of fascinating in itself. I'll have to go back and rewatch that, or I guess in essence re-listen to it, because I know I'm explaining it very poorly. So once, I'm sure if I just watch it, I can, you know, have a much better idea again what he was talking about, because I feel like I'm just talking out of my butt about it. And I probably am, which, you know, sorry about that. Let's see. But yeah, he's got a bunch of other, things, or other, like, videos and different, different things on YouTube that I highly recommend, you know, looking it up. Again, it's I believe it is called Star Talk, but I can't remember. There's another person that he has with him a lot of the times, and he's kind of like the comedy relief guy to Neil deGrasse Tyson's like cold, calculated. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're saying. So it is pretty fascinating to kind of like hear them go back and forth, just because they're they're kind of really good at complimenting each other. You know, like in what they talk about and whatnot. So it is pretty cool. At least in my mind, it seems pretty cool. As with all things, you know, I urge you to try it yourself and see what it is, and see if it's something that you like. And you know, you shouldn't have other people telling you this is what you should like. But yeah, highly recommend Star Talk. Definitely watch and listen to that. You will definitely enjoy it. To be fair, I don't really like do a whole lot. Else outside of you know, gaming and YouTube to an extent. Like as far as like I wouldn't say like, you know, doing YouTube, you know, like putting the videos up and whatnot, but like doing YouTube, or I guess like watching a lot of YouTube. I definitely do watch a lot of YouTube, you know, just as in general, but that's mostly because I really enjoy like the aspect of it. You know, granted, it is, you know, really it's like watching TV, but you know, you have like a lot of choices for like what you can or what you want to watch. Like you can watch anything from, like, maybe you're super fascinated in you know, maybe you're super fascinated in some subject, or you want to learn about some other subject. You know, you can find just about anything on the YouTube, and I think that's like why I enjoy it so much. It's just because there's so much that you can find. Oh, cool. So there's like a lot of aspects to it that are just like, oh man, I can find whatever I'm looking for, and it's it's all like right there for me to figure out. So always an interesting thing. Let's see. I am almost done with this particular run, so hopefully everything will go smooth in Gannon's lair, and I won't have to try and find more shenanigans to talk about. Because, like I said, I don't really do a whole lot of anything interesting. I think the most interesting thing I've done, or the most interesting thing I'm probably going to be doing, is I'm going to be going on a walk on like Sundays with some of my buddies. We're gonna be doing it's like a workout day on Sundays, because you know, I don't really do a whole lot of don't really do a whole lot of stuff outside of the house. Like I do a lot of cleaning around the house. I always want to make sure my house is clean. I don't want to be a slob or anything, but also at the same time, like I don't really go out and exercise, especially since the pandemic started. Like I don't really do a whole lot, with the. I don't really do like a whole lot outside of the house. Like, you know, go to work and, you know, come home and then that's it. Like nothing else, or nothing really else. You know, just go to work, come home. Hopefully I don't need the ladder in order to finish it. I don't think I will, but I might. But yeah, I don't really do a whole lot else, so that's why, you know, I was pretty happy whenever I was like, oh hey, you know, you wanna, you know, I've been thinking about doing this, you think, you know, is this something that you'd be interested in? And they're like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, you know, we can go hike around on the mountains and stuff. And, you know, that's kind of really it as far as anything like fancy that I do. You know, I guess I am gonna be having a grill thing, like a little get together where everyone's kind of outside. So that's gonna be fun. You know, I'm gonna have a bunch of my family here, and they're gonna, you know, eat brats and hamburgers and all that shenanigans. I guess it's a big thing because it's the end of the summer. I completely forgot it was the end of the summer. I was like, oh man, you know, the days are getting not as hot, so, you know, maybe people want to come and hang out and eat. So, at least that was kind of my thought process. I was like, oh man, maybe we can, you know, go have like a grill thing outside, and people could come over and we can do stuff. You know, like a bunch of people in my family, you know, also like to play games. You know, I have younger brothers, and they definitely are video game guys and girls. So that is it's really interesting. Can't get to that room. But that is you know, that is something that, you know, I guess we can, you know, we definitely can do. I mean, I do have like a little setup inside of inside that house where I have like extra computers and game consoles and things like that. So, you know, if they wanted to, you know, play some video games together, we could all play some video games together. So thankfully I have that, you know, that kind of thing, I guess, on my side. Is that how you put it? I just know that they love playing video games just as much, if not more than me, so. So I at least have kind of that to look forward to. And I'm sure they'll have like ideas for all kinds of things. They'll be like, hey, you know, why don't we do this together this weekend? Or, hey, let's all play this game together. And be like, oh my gosh, I'd love to, but oh yeah, I knew this room would be like this. No bonuses. But I wonder if anyone else has like any families like that, or like a boyfriend or a girlfriend that's like that, where they're just like, they just get all excited whenever like one game comes out, and it's like they need you to know that this game is the best game ever, or that you need to play this game, or that, you know, you need to talk to them about this game. I always find that kind of stuff hilarious. Just kind of listening to my friends and family go on about that kind of stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, you gonna play the game with me? No, I'm good. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Just play the game. It'll be fun, I promise. And you're like, I don't know, I'm not too worried about playing the game right now. Oh, cool. I wonder if he's gonna be over here. Nope. Alright, it must be up. I wonder if I can blow a hole up. Yeah! Oh wow. Crazy! Have the actual room. And come here. Just come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. I just want to touch you. Oh, intense boss fight. Swing sword wildly. Ow. 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 Yeah, there we go. No, come over here. Come over here, yeah. But yeah, I really wonder if you do have people that are like that, you know, kind of just let them be them. You know, because it's a really good... Is this it? Yeah, I thought so. But yeah, just kind of let them be them. They'll by the way, we beat that in like looks like a minute and maybe 45 or an hour and 45 minutes or so. I don't know how long the initial talk I did, you know, me talking at the very beginning took, but looks like it'd be about 140-ish was the time for everything. That's good. Yeah, back at the original talk, you know, let, you know, whoever they are, let them be them, and, you know, sometimes you gotta bite the bullet, and you got to, you know, do that thing that you may not enjoy doing. I never even played the recorder once. Bad times. You know, and just, you know, if they do want to play a game or they do want to watch that movie that you don't want to watch, don't look at it as, you know, oh, I have to do something I don't like for this person. You know, look at it as you get to spend time with the person that you love or enjoy, and that there's, you know, there's always going to come points in your life where you're going to have to take a minute to, you know, kind of think about, do I want to do this, or is it this that I want to do? And, you know, hopefully you make the decision to, you know, or you make a decision that's, you know, that you find is the best decision at the time. Because I don't want to tell you should or shouldn't. It's not what I should say. But I hope you do choose family, or, you know, your best friend, or the person that you love to be the person that you decide to spend that time with. But don't kind of neglect everyone else in yourself. I don't know. Everything's a balancing act. I'm just talking out of my butt now. I deeply apologize for that. So, we'll beat the game in about an, you know, hour and 40 something minutes. Hour 45. I can just go by hour 50 because that's how long I've been recording for. But 9 deaths, an hour and 50 minutes. Not bad at all. Especially considering I was trying to talk the whole time and I kind of died quite a bit until I, you know, started getting things done. But anyway, thanks for watching. You know, wherever you are, I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening. If you're just getting up, I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you're just getting ready to go to sleep, I hope you have a wonderful nap. Anyway, take it easy, everyone. Thanks, and bye.